Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is Thursday, and we have an absolutely massive, crazy update to talk about. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today as we break down all the latest drama. Let's just jump right into it because there is a lot to cover. And honestly, you guys, I am just so exhausted by the sheer amount of chaos happening right now. Let's be real. We all knew the tension between the Spencers and the Forresters was going to boil over eventually, but this is just next level messy. So let's start with the absolute disaster that went down at the bikini bar because wow, just wow, we have to talk about the brawl. The fight that ended with Eric Forrester, the patriarch, the legend himself, getting punched right in the head. And it was Will Spencer's fist that did the damage. But wait, let's back up a second. Let's really look at how this happened because it is so frustrating to watch. So RJ Forrester, and we'll get into it. Again, I mean, they have been circling each other like angry dogs for weeks now. And RJ has been pushing Will's buttons constantly. RJ is just so smug. He really is. He knows exactly what to say to get under Will's skin. So Will finally snaps. He swings. He throws a massive punch aimed right at RJ's face, but RJ ducks. RJ intentionally dodges the punch at the exact second Eric steps in to break it up. And boom, Will's fist connects right with Eric. It is awful. It is just awful to watch. But here is the thing, I am honestly standing on Will's side here. Okay, maybe I'm being too harsh on RJ. No, wait, I'm not. Because from where we are sitting, it looked incredibly obvious that RJ knew Eric was right behind him. RJ saw Eric coming. RJ dodged on purpose, knowing that Will's momentum would carry that punch right into his grandfather. It is such a sleazy, calculated move. RJ wanted Will to look like a monster, and it worked. It worked perfectly. And, of course, Will is not totally innocent here. I mean, Will has a temper. He has taken cheap shots at RJ before. We all remember Will punching RJ in the gut a while back. So yeah, Will has anger issues. He even admitted to Katie that he feels out of control lately. Maybe it's the stress of the corporate war. Maybe it's leftover trauma from his past. Who knows? But swinging blindly in a crowded bar, not a smart move. Will, not smart at all. So Eric goes down. He takes a really hard hit to the face. He has a massive black eye. It is brutal, and Electra Forrester walks in at the exact worst moment. She sees her grandfather bleeding and bruised, and she sees Will standing there with his fists clenched. It is the absolute worst visual possible. Electra is horrified. She is just completely disgusted, and can you blame her? She has been hearing from Ridge and RJ for weeks that Will is dangerous. That Will is a violent threat, and now she sees it with her own eyes. And RJ plays it up perfectly. He acts like the protective, innocent grandson. He immediately spins the narrative. RJ makes sure everyone knows that Will is an unhinged maniac who attacks elderly men. It is just so manipulative. RJ is literally using his grandfather's physical pain to win a girl and win a feud. It is gross. Honestly, it is just gross. So the news spreads like wildfire because of course it does. In this town, nobody can keep a secret for more than 5 minutes. Deke Sharp hears about it and immediately runs to tell Katie Logan Spencer. Katie is horrified. She is absolutely terrified for her son. Meanwhile, RJ pulls out his phone and texts Brooke Logan Forrester. RJ gives Brooke his completely biased, twisted version of events. He paints Will as a complete psycho, and Brooke just eats it up. She believes every single word her golden child RJ says. And then we have Ridge Forrester. Oh my goodness, Ridge. Ridge finds out that Will punched Eric, and he absolutely loses his mind. Ridge goes on a complete rampage. He is furious. He is screaming about how Will is out of control, how Will is a danger to society. And honestly, the hypocrisy here is just staggering. It really is. Let's be real for a second. Let's just zoom out and look at the bigger pattern here. Ridge is acting like he is the moral authority on nonviolence. But didn't Ridge literally just punch Bill Spencer in the face like a few episodes ago? Yes, he did. Ridge marched into Bill's office and assaulted him over the whole Hope and Logan Creations drama. But when Ridge does it, it's defending his family. When Will does it, he's a monster. It is so frustrating. The double standards in the Forrester family are just exhausting. But Ridge doesn't care about facts. Ridge has decided that Will is the enemy. And the entire Forrester family is uniting against Will. They are closing ranks. Ridge used to like Will. He used to defend him, but not anymore. Ridge is probably ready to call the cops. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Will gets arrested for assault. That would be a massive, apocalyptic PR nightmare for Logan Creations. Imagine Katie and Bill having to deal with their son being in handcuffs right after launching their new fashion line. So Elektra is done. She is completely, 100% done with Will. She told him it was over before, but now she has thrown the necklace at him. She has moved out of the beach house. She is sticking to her promise to her family to stay away from him forever. And RJ is just swooping right in to claim her. RJ gets exactly what he wants. He gets the girl, and he gets to destroy his rival. Will is just a broken man at this point. He is devastated. He has lost everything. He lost his job at Forrester. He lost the girl he loves, and now he is the villain of Los Angeles. Will just wants to be alone. He goes home to sulk. He is probably drinking, spiraling into a really dark depression. But he is not alone, because Melissa Dillon is there. Let's talk about Melissa Dillon for a second. Because what is she even doing? Will tells her he wants to be alone. He is clearly in a terrible mental state, but Dillon ignores his boundaries. She follows him home. She is pretending to be this supportive, caring friend who just wants to listen and sympathize. But we all know she has an ulterior motive. Dillon has been harboring this massive crush on Will. She even had that weird hallucination about seducing him. So now she sees Will at his absolute lowest, most vulnerable point, and she is swooping in. It is so calculated. Dillon is hoping to be his rebound. She wants to rescue him so he will fall in love with her. But what about RJ? Dillon and RJ just had a passionate night together at the beach house. Dillon is playing a very dangerous game here. If she pursues Will, she is going to ruin her friendship with Elektra. She is going to ruin whatever she has going with RJ, and she might even ruin her career. What is she thinking? Who actually believes this is going to end well? But let's shift gears back to Eric, because amidst all this chaos, there is actually one tiny silver lining. Just one. Elektra and RJ bring Eric back to the Forrester mansion. He is battered. He is bruised. He has a huge black eye. Donna Logan Forrester sees him, and she absolutely panics. Donna rushes to his side. She is crying. She is checking his face. She is just terrified for her husband. And Eric actually handles this really well. Everyone is screaming that he needs to go to the hospital. Ridge, Brooke, Donna, they are all begging him to see a doctor, but Eric refuses. He is stubborn, as always, but instead of being angry, Eric focuses entirely on Donna. He comforts her. He tells her he is fine. He is so gentle with her. And you guys, this is huge, because Eric and Donna's marriage was literally on the verge of total collapse. Eric was so furious with Donna for keeping Katie's secret about Hope defecting to Logan. Eric publicly humiliated Donna. He fired her. He escorted her out of the building. He gave her the silent treatment at home. It was brutal, but now this traumatic event has magically healed their rift. Eric sees how much Donna loves him, how scared she is for him. And it seems like all that lingering tension just melts away. So, yeah, maybe I'm a sucker for romance, but I am glad they are okay. But the peace does not last long because Katie Logan Spencer shows up at the Forrester mansion. Katie is horrified by what Will did. She realizes that her corporate war, her demands for Will to keep secrets, it all pushed her son over the edge. So Katie comes over to do damage control. She comes to apologize. She wants to make peace. And we get this spoiler that Katie and Brooke try to call a truce. The official spoilers say they attempt to make peace, but the key word there is attempt. Because it fails. It fails spectacularly. Brooke is not having it. Brooke is still so incredibly shattered and furious over Hope defecting to Logan. Brooke feels like Katie stole her daughter. So Brooke takes all that rage, all that maternal fury, and she unleashes it on Katie. Brooke just rips into Katie. She verbally assaults her. She blames Katie for everything. Brooke tells Katie that Will's violent behavior is entirely Katie's fault. Brooke says that Katie and Bill clearly never taught Will any manners or how to behave properly. It is a vicious, low blow. Attacking someone's parenting is just, wow, Brooke is going for the jugular. Katie tries to apologize. She tries to explain that things just spiraled out of control. But Brooke refuses to listen. Brooke rejects all of Katie's efforts at reconciliation. And then Brooke does the unthinkable. Brooke officially disowns Katie. Brooke looks her sister in the eye and tells her that she is no longer a part of her family. Boom, just like that. The Logan sisterhood is completely, permanently shattered. It is honestly so tragic to watch. These sisters have been through everything together. But this corporate war over Hope and the fashion lines has just destroyed them. Katie is left in tears. The tears are literally flowing at the Forrester mansion. Katie has lost her sister, she has lost her son's future, and she is standing there completely exiled from her own family. It is heartbreaking. Let's rewind a little bit and look at how we even got to this point of total nuclear family war. Because none of this happened in a vacuum. This all started with the fashion houses. Katie decided she wanted to build her own empire, Logan Creations. And what did she do? She poached Hope right out from under Forrester Creations. Hope secretly signed a contract with Katie, completely blindsiding Steffy, Ridge, and most importantly, her own mother. Hope launched Hope by Logan, and it was a massive success, but it completely eclipsed Eric's highly anticipated return to haute couture, so the Forresters were already humiliated. They were already out for blood, and Will. Poor Will was caught right in the middle of it. Katie swore Will to secrecy. She forced him to lie to his girlfriend, Electra, who runs the jewelry line at Forrester. So Will was carrying all this massive corporate guilt, lying to the woman he loves just to protect his mother's business. No wonder the guy snapped. And we also have to talk about Bill Spencer's role in all of this. Because while Katie is crying and trying to apologize, Bill is probably sitting in his office laughing. Bill Spencer loves this. He loves watching the Forresters squirm. When Eric had his massive public meltdown during that press interview, accusing Logan of stealing their thunder, Bill just gloated. He saw it as free press. And now that Will has punched Eric, Bill is going to defend his son to the death. Bill is going to tell Will not to feel guilty. Bill is going to say it was just a bar fight and Eric shouldn't have stepped in the middle of two young guys throwing hands. The contrast between Bill and Ridge right now is insane. Ridge is acting like a self-righteous dictator, and Bill is acting like a ruthless mafia boss protecting his turf. It is a clash of the titans, and the kids are the ones getting crushed in the crossfire. And honestly, can we talk about Will's mental state for a second? because everyone is calling him a monster, but the guy has been through absolute hell lately. Remember Luna Nozawa? Yes, the serial killer. Luna literally drugged Will, took advantage of him, and then claimed she was pregnant with his baby. Then she supposedly died by getting hit by a car after escaping prison. But there are all these wild rumors swirling around that Luna faked her death and is out there somewhere, secretly having Will's baby. I mean, the due date would be right around now. Imagine carrying that kind of psychological baggage. Imagine knowing your psychopathic ex might be out there with your child. Will's brain has to be completely scrambled. He is dealing with trauma on top of trauma, so yeah, he lost his temper at a bar. But maybe instead of treating him like a criminal, someone should get him some therapy. Just a thought. And what about Steffy Forrester Finnegan in all of this? Steffy is already dealing with so much. She is trying to do extreme damage control for Forrester Creations because the media is ignoring Eric's couture line and focusing entirely on Hope's defection to Logan. Steffy is furious. She is plotting ruthless retaliation against Hope and Katie, and now her grandfather gets assaulted by a Spencer. Steffy is going to use this. She is going to weaponize Will's violent outburst to destroy Logan Creations' reputation. She is going to make sure the press knows that the son of the Logan CEO is a violent thug. Steffy is a master at PR spin, and she is not going to let this crisis go to waste. But at the same time, Steffy has her own nightmare brewing at home. Finn is about to ask her to let Sheila Carter back into their lives. Sheila, the woman who shot them. Steffy's PTSD is going to flare up so badly. This entire family is just one bad day away from a complete psychological collapse. And you just have to wonder, where do they go from here? The Forresters and the Spencers are in an all-out blood feud. Will is facing potential assault charges. Ridge is on the warpath. Brooke has disowned her sister. Hope is alienated from her mother. It is just destruction everywhere. Is there any hope for Will? The only thing I can think of is Deacon Sharp. Deacon just reopened the bikini bar. Doesn't he have security cameras? I mean, it's a bar. There have to be cameras. If Deacon checks the tapes, he could prove that RJ intentionally ducked to set Will up. That is the only way Will is going to clear his name. That is the only way Ridge and Brooke might realize that their precious RJ is actually a manipulative little snake. But knowing these writers, they probably won't even mention security cameras. They will just let Will suffer, and RJ will keep playing the victim while scheming in the background. It is so frustrating. But we will keep watching because we are addicted to the drama. We always are. So, what do you guys think? Do you think Will is going to get arrested? Do you think Brooke went too far by disowning Katie? And do you think Deacon will actually check the security cameras and expose RJ? Let me know your thoughts, because my head is just spinning from all of this.